Hi, everyone. Welcome to episode 3 of Talent Pool Party. I'm Jill.
And I'm Josh.
And today we're joined with Jamie Libon. She's another fellow marketing student at the U of A. And we're super excited to have her today. Welcome, Jamie.
Thank you, Jill. So I guess I can just introduce myself. My name is Jamie. I am a new graduate. I just finished a 5-year degree from the University of Alberta. I majored in marketing, and then I was also part of the leadership certificate program at the School of Business.
Fellow Golden grad. So we kind of got talking a bit before we started, but did you know that you wanted to do marketing when you first entered the BCom program?
Yeah, so I knew that I always wanted to go into business, obviously. I had worked in retail for quite a bit, like for 3 years. I spent in retail working for Hollister and then Garage and Dynamite. And during the time when I was working at Garage, I actually had the opportunity to meet the VP operations and sales for Group Dynamite. And talking to him made me realize that I wanted to work like higher up in like business and what it could be like to work in marketing, like at that kind of level. So just like learning about the different brands that I was working for in retail, I think made me really excited.
That's awesome. So if you could talk about your experience in marketing and how you or in retail, I guess. But if you could be the CMO of any brand in the world, what would it be?
Okay, so that's a really tough question. Originally, like since I kind of started like my desire to work in marketing started with like the Group Dynamite brand. I would love to work for Group Dynamite, specifically on like the Dynamite side, just because I really like the persona that they had of like the strong like businesswoman. And however, to work for Dynamite, you have to go to Montreal. So I actually ended up doing an immersion program in Montreal where I could learn French, so I could see if I could like test the waters. However, I think Montreal would be too far away to like work long term. So I think working in Vancouver, I'd love to work for Lululemon. I really like retail fashion as well as wellness, so I think that'd be a really great kind of combination.
Well, and I guess we kind of talked a little bit about the questions beforehand, but so you're moving to Vancouver too, and what excites you about that opportunity there?
Okay, so I'm moving to Vancouver. I'm planning on moving to Vancouver in fall. What excites me is it's just going to be something new. I've known that I've always wanted to like move in for different opportunities in a different city. So I guess expanding and starting a new network there. A lot of the job opportunities in Vancouver currently, there are quite a few around like retail fashion or wellness in general. So I think just getting my foot in the door that way would be a really great opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we were talking earlier about how you've always wanted to move to Vancouver. Would you say that's your dream city that you wanted to work in, or is there another one that you'd want to work in also?
So I've thought about obviously I've thought about working in Montreal. I've thought about going to Vancouver. I worked with somebody who had done marketing in LA, and she would always talk to me about her life in LA and what that was like. I think it would be phenomenal to work in a city where it's just so bright and vibrant, and like the marketing opportunities and the brand opportunities are just like in abundance. But I do think I would like to stay in Canada, so Vancouver I think would be the best option for me. Yes, correct.
Yeah, I kind of thought that too. Just like the balance between being close to your family and also like having exciting opportunities. That's why I think like Vancouver would be a good spot too. And then I was thinking too. So like looking back, I've kind of been looking back on my degree too after graduating. And what would you say like is your favorite moment of your degree? I know it's probably hard to pick one, but just even like a collection of favorite memories.
Okay. That is a very tough question because I had so many amazing moments at the School of Business. Specifically, some of the kind of the best things that things that I'm most proud of or that have showed me the most growth would be being a part of the Alberta JDC West team. I did it for 3 years, but specifically in my role on the marketing team, we had a very strong team. And I think something about just like presenting with a group of people that you've worked so hard with and so close with that you just kind of have that trust with doing something that you love. Presenting at the JDC West competition, I think was probably one of my best moments. We didn't end up placing, but we really liked the case and our team felt really good afterwards. So just having that moment with the team was something that was really special to me. Some other things that I've done is being a part of the 5 days for the homeless team. That was incredible. A lot of the stuff that I've done in business have been case-based. So getting to do something and work with a team that is less business focused and more about really just doing something good for the community, I think was just a really great experience. A lot of people on my team I had never met or worked with before. So getting to work with a lot of new people as well was something that was really great.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
that's a great experience too, because you guys actually sleep outside for 5 nights, right?
Yeah, so the 5 days for the homeless campaign was started back in 2005. A group of students from the University of Alberta seeing basically lack of awareness around youth homelessness. So they got together, they modeled 5 days actually after an event that YES, which is the Youth Empowerment and Support Services, who we raise money for, held, where people would sleep outside for a night in the summertime. So they had modeled this campaign basically after that, but instead students would sleep outside for 5 days and have different events to raise money and awareness for youth homelessness.
Wow, that's such a great initiative. That's
Mhm.
awesome that you're able to be part of it. Just going back to kind of your experience with JDC, I know there's a lot of like, I mean, it's pretty much all like presenting and like cases and stuff. Throughout your experience in like business, has presenting and like doing cases always been something that you've been drawn to, or have you like learned to like presenting?
I've always been drawn to presenting, I guess, or wanting to get better at it. I definitely was not great at presenting at all when I started at the School of Business. I remember having to give a presentation at Ignite, and I was absolutely terrified, and I was shaking, and it was honestly very embarrassing. But because I did that, I was able to take more steps and like do AICC and then try out for the JDC West marketing team, which I believe is where I've seen absolutely the most growth in my presenting skills for sure, because you just do so many cases and you watch other people and you just pick up on so many things. So I definitely improved a lot throughout the years. I still think that there's things that I can improve on. So it's definitely like a thing I'd like to keep working on.
Yeah, I know. It's like you mentioned, it's kind of good to have some of those disaster presentations to like really just feel like what it feels like to just butcher it and then just slowly like learn how to do better. It's really like it's kind of a natural skill for a lot of people too. So I think it kind of takes time. But so when you worked at ATB, did you do the Brain Station like digital marketing training through that, or was that separate?
No. So I had sought out the BrainStation digital marketing certification after my first year at the School of Business, because I had noticed and done some research and realized that at the time it seemed like there was a lack of learning opportunities for digital marketing specifically. Going into marketing at the University of Alberta, I really didn't know much about it. But I knew that technology was on the rise, so I was like, I want to do digital marketing. And then, so after my first year, I realized that I needed to look elsewhere for opportunities. So yeah, I just looked for different programs, and then I picked the BrainStation one because it was in Vancouver, and I knew that if I went there, I'd be able to get a kind of feel for the city and be able to build some connections there. Working at ATB was actually the following summer.
Oh, okay. So you've had quite the impressive, productive summers.
Oh, thank you.
So they say any experience is good experience, but did you have any jobs like earlier on in your life that kind of seemed, I guess, not as great, that ended up kind of being worthwhile in the end?
So yes, I've had a lot of different jobs throughout the years. I don't know how early you want to go back, but I like worked at McDonald's. I worked at Dairy Queen. Um, Started going into the retail world and working at Hollister, and then for Garage and Dynamite. Sometimes I guess I would say, and serving as well, but I think I learned a lot from each one of the opportunities. Obviously, just working for like McDonald's or Dairy Queen was just about like discipline and just kind of adjusting to the work life. But serving was really great because although sometimes it was quite tiring, you had the opportunity to talk and practice your communication skills and just get more comfortable talking to people. In fact, I was working at Earl's on Jasper Ave, and the one of my tables, I was talking to him about marketing, and he actually ended up giving me his card because he had his own agency. So it's just like random things like that. That was like, I didn't expect that at all, but that was pretty cool. And then again, working for retail, I feel like retail could be maybe not the most exciting job. You're just on the floor for a while, but I think I had a really great team, and I got to learn more about brand and do some of like the visual assistant tasks while I was there. I really like aesthetic things and making things look pretty and just working with brand and getting to learn about personas. So I think any job will teach you things. And even if you think that one position is maybe not the greatest, if you work harder, you want to learn more, there's always going to be extra learning opportunities that will then set you up for the future. So I don't know, even with like the retail experience, I could have taken it as like a regular retail job, but because my manager knew that I wanted to learn more about like the visual assistant stuff, I wanted to just learn more about talking to people all the time. And she knew how invested I was in business. That she was the one who made the connection between making sure I was there to meet the VP operations and sales when he came to visit from head office from Montreal. So I think showing eagerness in whatever you do also can be beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Like eagerness, and then just being like open and honest about like what your future goals are, because it's kind of amazing to see like over time the people that will help you if you just show that you're interested about something, and it's kind of other people that usually push you forward. And I was wondering for you, is there anyone that's been like specifically in marketing a mentor for you over your degree, or yeah, just your thoughts on that?
Okay, so there's a lot of people that have helped me out and a lot of people that have been mentors to me throughout the degree. I think in every marketing class that I took at the University of Alberta, I got to know each of my professors, some more than others. I think at one point, actually, all of the marketing professors I had helped judge me at some point with on the marketing team for JDC West, or I had recruited them to help judge the teams when I was the VP academic. So I think just talking to people that have that experience, I think there's a wealth of knowledge out there as we're young and as we're students. And I'm only saying this because I know students are going to be watching this, but your professors actually really care about you. So that's why I just wanted to start there. I've had so many professors that I went and have talked to about job opportunities that have connected me with people, that have sent me on coffee dates with people, that have like offered to give me references, all that kind of thing. So I think they're definitely underutilized, and they do care about you if you go and talk to them. But that's just professors in general. Some other people that have been pretty important to me is my boss from the School of Retailing, Heather. She was just an amazing mentor overall. One thing I really appreciated about her was I feel like she just had a really great personal brand, and Josh, I'm sure you can attest to that. But just as like a working mother that just seemed like she had everything together. And one thing that I learned from her, Josh, I don't know if you ever sat in on like the business proposal meetings with her, but one thing that she was really good at is just like talking and like connecting with people right from the beginning. And she just seemed so comfortable in whatever she did. And she had then a really good grasp on building a story and kind of taking people, sharing her vision of what the projects could look like. So that was something that I really admired about her. Working at ATB, again, I had a phenomenal boss. Again, another like pretty strong woman, working female, had a really great personal brand, somebody that I really looked up to for the way that she was so established in her career, but also had her like work-life balance going on as well. And then I had a mentor working at ATB who really taught me. Basically, she was my go-to person whenever I needed anything. And one thing that she was really great with was just allowing me to come to her with like any mistakes or any questions that I ever had. So I think having somebody like that was really important as well.
Yeah, definitely. Those are all like great mentors. I think starting at the first one you mentioned, professors, like for sure. For some reason, like in Edmonton, for students, like U of A gets seen as this place where like the professors don't really care about you. But I think we're very lucky in business, and especially like our marketing profs are all pretty solid about. Like I think of like Onita and Webb and how you walk into class late or something, and they like personally say hi to you, even though you're like you dropped the ball and you're late for their class, but they're still gonna say good morning to you. And yeah, definitely like helping you reach out, and that's something I didn't really realize until like my final years is how valuable professors can be. And then like definitely makes me smile when you mention Heather too, because she kind of taught me like the value of even just like relationships and knowing the person you're talking to. Like even like when you start a meeting, she would always like somehow like know what their kids are doing or like what so and so is doing, and you'd always start with like 10 to 15 minutes of just like chit chat, which is like unusual for me because I'm used to just like jumping into it. But it's definitely like if you're gonna do business long term with people, it's kind of a good lesson. And then yeah, like your ATB mentors, what was your role there? Like that you hired for?
So I was a marketing coordinator on the field marketing team at ATB Financial, and so our team essentially, we basically worked as kind of marketing consultants to the different like internal entities throughout ATB. So we would do projects for wealth or projects for business and agriculture, projects for RFS, so like, or I guess it's EFS now, but like the retail branches. Yeah. Would you like me to expand on that as well?
No, that's okay. I think so did you work with Kevin Espinito at that time?
Yeah, so Kevin was actually on my team. He is just a phenomenal person to work with. And yeah, he's definitely somebody I admire as well. He puts a lot of passion into anything that he did, and it's definitely inspiring.
Yeah, we interviewed him for sorry, Jill, but we interviewed him for the podcast too. So it was fun to listen to him, and he's kind of big on, like personal branding and stuff. But
definitely.
Is personal branding something like that you like consistently think of, or do you just kind of try to be yourself and then let your work speak for yourself?
Personal branding is definitely something that I've started taking a lot more. I've been a lot more thoughtful with throughout the years. I had somebody give me a presentation, I think 3 years ago, about personal branding, and it was just like a professional development presentation that different organization that I was a part of had held. And I didn't actually realize the importance of it, but especially I feel like being in marketing, if you're going to be able to like, especially wanting to work in brand, which is what I want to do, I feel like it's so important to understand, like who you are and what you want to portray yourself, like your brand as. So I think it definitely is really important. I think your brand should be who you are. I don't think you should try and brand yourself as somebody that you're not. So I feel like it goes hand in hand, but like with anything in marketing, it's always like important to have like a clear message of that. So if you are able to really think about what you value and what you really want to embody and then be able to communicate that, I think that's really important.
Yeah, definitely. So what would you say from your time at ATB, what would you say was your biggest takeaway from your time there and from the work that you did?
Okay, so working at ATB was an absolutely amazing experience. One of the biggest things, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but the people there are just amazing to work with. Like, they're just such good people just to know. So I think because I've worked at ATB, one of the things, and this isn't necessarily marketing related, but I do want to just put it out there. But one thing that I ask now in interviews is what their culture is like, and to ask like employers to give me kind of examples of like things that they do or things, team building things, or what's important to them essentially. I know culture is something that you should research before an interview, or should know if you're applying to the position. But I think actually asking like a manager what kind of team building things that they do, or I think that's really important to me. In terms of marketing, there's always things that you can be learning. A big thing at ATB is a lot of, or everybody on my team specifically, there was always new things that you could learn, and there was always a lot of collaboration in all of our meetings. Everybody would work together. On top of that, there's so many different teams in marketing at ATB, so there was so many people that you could talk to. So I think being able to come forward and ask questions is important, especially when you're young, because nobody's going to blame you for not knowing. And even in the future, I'm sure when you get older, like even my boss would ask questions, or people that I looked up to would work together. So I think being comfortable not knowing things and working together to figure things out is important. Also, a lot of the people that worked in brand at ATB, this is more of like a strategic thing. A lot of them had previous agency experience. Like, I talked to quite a few of the senior leaders at ATB about kind of how they got to where they were and the different things that they had done. And it seems like a lot of people had came from an agency background, which I think is important because it just kind of reinforces the fact that, like, if you do want to work for a brand, being able to be exposed to so many different projects, I think is really important. And I think it can take you quite far.
Yeah, definitely. Just going back to kind of what you were first saying about being comfortable with not knowing things, I think that's so important for students, especially to hear, because I think a lot of people might shy away from opportunities because they don't think they're either like smart enough or like know enough about it yet. But yeah, I totally agree. Like, you have to have those experiences to learn about them sometimes. So yeah, that's really great to hear that you had such a good experience, still kind of learning as you went. So yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, I wanted to congratulate both of you on graduating this year. It's probably not what you guys were planning for, but yeah, you should be very proud of yourselves. So now that you are graduated, Jamie, what kind of positions are you looking for? I know you mentioned branding and that you're moving to Vancouver, but so would you say like that's what interests you the most then? Like, you think like a position in branding is what you're looking for?
Yeah, so I definitely want to work in brand down the road. I think like I said, kind of the whole agency thing, I think because I did cases, I feel like I had the opportunity to work on so many different problems in such a short amount of time and brainstorm. And I think because of that, I would really like the agency environment. Of course, I've learned that you need to test things to really understand if you like it or if you don't like it. But I have been doing like a few different like coffees. Obviously, the job market isn't that great right now, but a lot of the jobs that I did end up applying to that had got back to me and told me that, oh, well, we're not hiring anymore. I'd followed up and asked to go for coffee. So I've met with quite a few people from different agencies. So I think that's something that I want to be able to try out. But besides that, I would want to work for either fashion or wellness, I think, down the road. With my job experience, my first like marketing position or like professional position, I was the only person on the marketing team. I was working for an accounting firm. And because of that, I kind of got to do everything, but at the same time I was a student. So I knew that I had received an offer to stay, but I really wanted to work on a team where I could learn things. Then at ATB, I got that where there was such a depth of experience with that brand. So now that I've kind of had both of those experience, what I'm missing is being in a role where I can kind of dip my toe in a bunch of different brands.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool agencies in in Vancouver, and I actually bought that book that Rethink came out with. I haven't actually read it yet, but they seem kind of like a really cool agency that if you happen to land a job there, I'll be signing you up for virtual coffees. See how you
All right, that sounds good.
Well, I think that wraps it up for this week. Thank you so much, Jamie, for joining us this week. It was awesome to chat with you and to hear kind of your future plans and what you've done in the past. For those watching, make sure you stay tuned for next Tuesday, our isolation education episode at 5 p.m. and then another one on Talent Pool Party on Friday. So yeah, stay tuned for future episodes. Thank you again, Jamie. And yeah, see you guys next time.
Thanks so much for having me, guys.
Okay.